and connect before I show you a few connections with this, right? Let's do a quick reflect and connect. Tell me about it. Where could this go somewhere with room plan scans? Real estate? Yep.
Interior design.
Yeah, 100%. Oof, I can show you some things. Yeah.
Could this be used to scan like a dollhouse?
Yep. What house?
Like a dollhouse, like.
Not meant for that.
But I was thinking.
No. I'm trying to work out. Yeah, it looks for walls. If it was a whopping big one and I was inside, maybe possible. But if it's a little one, it's going to struggle to pick up the walls. But that would be more of an object. Yeah.
I was more thinking like, because then you can have students work with.
Yeah.
Building furniture.
100%. Yeah. We're looking at doing some renovations at the moment. I just did my whole house, and I just knocked out a room just using spline, and just kind of did a quick mock-up of how that would look outside. And yeah, wow, saved me a lot of time. Tracy. Yes. Apple supply the code, I must say. Apple have sample code, and I just put my little things so it looked like mine. But anyway, we won't go on there. The hardest thing, I had to attach the custom models. So when it scanned, it knew that was that, and so I had to combine two sample codes. But it's remarkable what ChatGPT can do when you're stuck in a bind. No, it is. It will show you the bugs. It will show you what you need to fix. So it's remarkable. Sorry, we digress. Reflect and connect. Others? Yeah. Yeah. Go.
No, I thought it was like, a math teacher with younger kids, skill models.
Yeah.
Man, just taking it that step further, like,
Yep.
Get the skill model of your house.
Yeah.
But then 3D print it. And then, just kind of taking it to that level.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, you could use it for like introduction to architecture and design, right? Like
Yeah.
students are
Yep.
like, I don't know how the measurement goes.
Yep.
Especially 2D.
Yeah.
Because then you take it from there to,
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, I'm staying with friends. Got a high school senior who's in charge of creating a sustainable house model.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Thinking on the short term, it could be used for event planning real quick.
Oh.
You just need to, how many of us are you going to fit into this room?
Yep.
Scan it, where the TV's going to sit.
100%. So tomorrow the plan is, it's going to take some of those scans, those room plan, and in Spline, I'll show you how to just pull things apart, create animations, low tech. I promise it won't be hard, all in a browser. So I'll show you how to do that. Yeah. Other connections, I know they're there.
Video games, of course.
Oh, video games.
Assassin's Creed. They rebuilt Notre Dame based on the scans that they did for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I read about that, and apparently they didn't.
What?
It's a myth. They used all the floor plans and all the things that Notre Dame had, and they used slightly different things. But it's been a little bit debunked. I used to use it all the time, and then I fact checked it to see if I was saying what was right.
I said it because you said it. Like,
Ah! So now we know. They did use parts of it, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it for the recreation, apparently. But yes, so games, escape rooms, based on actual places. Yep.
That's one thing I was trying to do at some point in that same time frame in 2020-ish pandemic. Was trying to build a 2-scale model in Minecraft of the school and trying to picture in my head what the school looked like, or literally I went through the school and recorded like some of the hallways so I could
Gotcha.
build it. But if I had this, it'd be like, I can just walk through it.
Yeah. Hours of time. Hours of time. Working with some science lecturers, faculty members at the moment, and their big thing is health and safety with Bunsen burners and equipment in their thing. So they're creating based on the actual lab with object capture, recreating that lab to the dimensions that they are so they can do a little simulation of orientation before the kids get there. But everything being based on the room, so when they walk into the room, it's there. I do this with grade 5 and 6 children. I go into a school, I scan their library, and then we use something like CoSpaces or something like that to redesign the library. Pull it apart, still use the boundary of the library, but then the kids create wellness centre, meditation sites, all those beautiful little things, and I give them a scan. Kids are not scanning, but I'm using that in my teaching and learning. doesn't always have to be the kids doing everything or the students or the young adults. Sometimes you give them something to start with, right? And then they pull it apart and go crazy with it. Others? Yep.
It's on a military, like, I was watching Zero Dark 30, and they had of the compound where they got Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, they kind of like, they could have, obviously they can't go in there and scan the report, but they didn't tell them, like, where to go before, like, the safety, you get hidden room, things like that.
Yep.
But scan it while you're in there, so later on you can use information to know how they build bunkers, it's a military.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say safe playgrounds for kids who have disabilities.
Yeah.
Right, because sometimes people build without asking kids what they actually like.
Yep.
So having them being involved with like what it looks for them.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I mentioned at the start, and people are probably saying, Paul, we haven't touched this, which you'll have a play with at lunch, right? But just think of this in context. So I've captured that as a USDZ file to scale. I've got walkthrough capabilities here with this, right? So I'm starting to think about not just the Vision Pro being the end, everything I've been doing with iPads for the last 10 years and reality component, it's all going to come to fruition with this, if that makes sense. So it's not an extra, it's not an add-on, it's just going to be built upon as we go through. So let me just show you a couple of little things quickly that I've been playing with, and it's just me in my head. Oh, by the way, I'll do a quick demo of that. There are so many great converters out there now. I can upload my USDZ exported files and make them GLBs, OBJs. I'll give you the website for that. I'll give a demo of that because I know that a lot of you might not even be on a Mac, right? So you're going to need a different file converter to just upload your file and to get the meshes and the OBJs and the different things. So what I'm doing is I'm showing you what Apple can do, but now we've removed the obstacles of just being in Apple. We can start to use it in other software and other things as well, which I think is cool. So what have I been playing with? This is my kitchen. And basically I did a quick room twin of my kitchen and my dining area. And this is Spline. I call it 3D for Dummies. That's why I use it. And basically what I can actually do is just look at the different layers, play textures, remove them, delete them, move them up, make them draggable, do whatever I want, right? And so all of a sudden, I can start applying my kitchen bench and just put, okay, I'll load an image file up and see how that looks as a texture. Super easy to do. But 5 years ago, I would need 10 years of training to be able to do this. And now I can learn it on the spot. This is me just applying a different texture to it. Trying to get that matrix feel, right? Trying to get something that looks a little bit different. So this is my entire house. And I've just applied one transparent texture to the whole house and made it a little bit kind of matrixy with some little footprints with my face scan. So I'm always trying to use scans, and you can see that I'm the ultimate cheat now. I scan everything and use it in my flow because I haven't got time to build individually. And we know AI's taken over the world. So the paid version of Spline, not the free version, but the paid version of Spline, has now got AI text to 3D image generation. That is, I load a picture up of what I want as a 3D model, wooden dining table with cast iron legs, and the AI will generate that for me as a 3D model. Looks terrible there, but it actually comes in incredibly good in regard to the 3D model. So we know that AI, and this is more tomorrow's session, I want to kind of focus on the AI element, but we know that AI is coming into everything we do now, and this is no different. So I can take my room twin kind of generic model, and I can start building that into my aspect as well. And you can see there, it took about probably 30 seconds, and you can see the dining room table there is pretty good. And all I did was upload a reference image. I'll show you some websites tomorrow that does this for free. The really good ones are paid, but there are some free websites that you can actually do text. But how's that? I've got an idea. I want to see how it looks in my home. Let's go AI image reference, and it'll generate it for me. And you can see there the result is pretty good. I could fill up that room. I've got a little TV going there as well with Memoji head. I want to finish before lunch, and we probably won't do this, but I just want to show you quickly what the last one is, and it's the newest of the scanning family, and it's called Gaussian splats. Really, really new. I'm going to go to Scaniverse just quickly. So it helps if my head. Marcus, I've still got your thing too. I'm going to get you. Sorry, I'll just get up here. So Gaussian splats are the future. So you might be full up with your head. You might be absolutely full of knowledge about scanning, and you've had enough, Paul. You want to get into some creation mode, which we will. But I just want to show you this last one. We talked about 8134. Lots of information. I'm going to give you handouts for all of this. The last one I want to show you is a Gaussian splat. Gaussian splats are the new high standard of capturing not so much objects, but places, right? So I mentioned the Oculus. They've got a Scaniverse app that you pick on parts of the world and you basically step in and there I am in Bangkok or a famous place where people have done the scans for you. And they have used what's called Gaussian. So this is Scaniverse. If I hit the plus, we went with mesh. They've also got splat, which is a different kind of capture. What it does is it captures spaces relatively well. So that's just outside this centre. Now it's different. I couldn't do this with object capture because that's an object. It's too small, right? Couldn't do it with mesh. Can you imagine what it wouldn't pick up with the mesh? But Gaussian splat, by walking forward and back and walking around it, will pick up some really good detail on an area. But you'll also notice there's no gaps. Picks up transparent windows, picks up metallic, picks up water, picks up everything. And it's called a Gaussian splat. And where we would use this would be walking into an immersive place that is not perfect. You can see the outside of it. Can you see that? It's kind of all flickety. But the bit that it has highlighted still has a centre. So it still has like an object scan in the middle, which I'm centering on, but it's picking up all the surrounding areas, not in great depth around it, but it still gives me that sense of place of where I am. Gaussian splats, as I said before, will pick up what this doesn't. It'll pick up transparency. Okay, so it'll go that one step further and say, right, this is what this is all about. So I think I did another one. I went on a big walk yesterday. Marcus, I've got yours here. This was at the Abraham Lincoln thing yesterday. I went for a walk. So, hang on, let me go a bit further. Now I couldn't reach that. That's like 20 foot high, right? So if I was trying to do mesh, there's no way that it'd even come up slightly like that. But I've just kind of pointed. It actually uses algorithms. It uses a bit of prediction in regard to seeing what should be there and what shouldn't be there. Now, it gives me, that wasn't cloudy. That's just how Gaussian splats turn out. I almost see it as a bit of a dreamlike sequence. It kind of feels like a dream. It's kind of using point cloud. It's kind of using some different things there. If I go to the back, kind of picked up there. I'm not sure if you can see, but it kind of picks up the sun coming down because the sun was hitting right on that angle. So that one wasn't as good as the other one, but also gives you pretty good detail as well, considering I wasn't even up there. I was about 3 meters from this scan, so I wasn't even that close. That one was probably a better idea of what that is. Gaussian splats also have measure. So if I was measuring kind of different areas there of my Gaussian, I can also measure that, which is great for architecture, great for landscape gardeners, great for everything.
Is it giving you the real-time feedback, like move out, get close?
No, none of that.
Okay.
So all you need to do is experience and see how it turns out and then adjust.
Yeah.
I'll give you some scanning techniques today too about different scanning techniques that will help you get better scans, because it's all about technique a little bit more. Questions just before, because I don't want to do that because we'd all have to go outside and it'll be quite a big thing. But that's called Gaussian splats. Any questions with that?
How high up can you go?
Oh, by the way, yeah, great question. Let me show you two examples that really take that to a new level. You can actually load up video footage. So you can load up video footage of a scan, and the video will turn it into a Gaussian as well. Polycam app does that, which I'll give you the handout for later. Let me just see if I can get my screen back up. There we go there. It is 8251. Thank you, students. Let me finish off. This is the last thing we're going to do actually just before we break. So Gaussian splats. So that's me in Spline. So I've just grabbed it, I've dragged that into Spline as a Gaussian splat and created a little kind of game character in it. Please don't judge me. You know, my videos are rough, not polished. This was late at night after one glass of wine, just one. So it's not great, but I just wanted to show you how we can capture kind of spaces and we can bring them into some different areas as well. Now, Gaussian splats have a file type that are hardly ever used. It's very hard to use splats because they're such a new technology. It's not like a USDZ file. It's kind of got its own file type, but it's an interesting little exercise there as well. And then before we finish, just because we're coming into lunch and we're coming into Vision Pros.
We're going to do Vision Pro after.
After.
Like the 4 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, I apologise. Okay. So can I just show you a run through? This is Vision Pro with Keynote. So this is just a Keynote file, but those ones that you've dragged in and done your scanning now becomes 3D assets. So just by loading that into your Keynote, we can start to pull those apart, play with them, drag them from window into immersive scene, play with different things. Spline actually tomorrow gives you the code to make your own Vision OS app. So you can export what you build in Spline tomorrow and actually grab that, they'll produce the code for you, and you can actually create your own app with these 3D scenes in them. But I think sometimes this is just the Files app. So this is just syncing to my MacBook or my iCloud account, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my 3D files that I've produced and I'm starting to play around and interact with them. Whether it's a room plan scan, changing the background, seeing how my designs look in different areas. So the Vision Pro for me is just kind of on steroids of what we're already doing and just making that purely immersive space and just taking that to the next level. But what I want you to see is that the ability to actually kind of just use what you already use on a Mac, yeah, just gets enhanced when they are spatial concepts. You can imagine there me kind of pulling apart my room plan scan that I just did and looking at the different areas within the rooms and kind of pulling that apart as well. That's Minecraft and just exporting that as a file as well. We know Procreate, that's just a room plan scan that's been fixed. Yeah, you can start to play with that. I could tap on that, it could open up in real-time size-wise. I can walk through my space and I can do a range of different things. So before we break, because I think I'm a little bit ahead of time, can I just show you the Padlet that I'm putting all of this information on? Can I just share that with you? Because it's got all those slides, it's got all those things I've been talking about, and I think that's important that you don't. We'll do a follow-up email with some resources, but can I show you where they are? Let me show you the Padlet first. Am I allowed to use Chrome or should I use Safari? I'm going to use Chrome. Sorry, I know people are watching. Sorry, let me just go to my Padlet. Oh no, I think it might be in my Safari, sorry. Am I in here? Yes, I am. So I'm going to give you this Padlet, just so I can show you quickly. It's got all the scanning that we went through today with kind of walkthroughs, a little bit more in depth. So if you're looking at doing something with your students, by all means, use these videos. They're all just YouTube videos. They have walkthroughs of the video that show your students how to do it. All I ask is that you don't change the branding, please. Don't grab it and use it as your own. Just put the link into your LMSs or whatever you do, but please don't change it. That's kind of my life's work there. So please don't do that. Yeah, object capture, different captures, me making a monster of myself, the process here. I've got lots of good tools that we're going to explore, including that 3D converter that I'll show you quickly before we break for lunch. And going along, I've got some information about Vision Pro where I see it working. We've got lots of graphics where I see it being used for business, but also for parts of the learning journey with your students and how you can use it to engage your kids, but also as a way of product. Some of the things that we'll do this afternoon with Reality Composer are all there as well. So please use those, how to make a physics game, how to do some basic stuff, okay? I always say show them the basic skills and then just get out of their way. But you still need to show them the basic skills. You don't just say let them go, because there's instructional phase that you must teach them up to a level to go past you. So there's a bit of a trick. That's the art of teaching, right? And we've got some other kind of areas there as well, which we'll kind of dive in over the next day and a half. The one that I did want to show you just really quickly was that converter. So you'll get this. I'll put up a QR code in a minute and you can just scan it and grab it, but we'll also email it to you. This is the converter that I love, and it converts 3D files. So if I grab a room plan scan that I hope I've got somewhere, maybe I don't. I should have tested this first, shouldn't I? Let's go with something else. Let's search for USDZ. Apologies. Let's go with, I just want a room plan. Oh, there we go. So this is the living room. And basically you can just upload that USDZ. There it is there. Kind of looks a little bit different to mine. And then you can just download as your different file types. This never used to be possible. This used to be the thing that frustrated everyone is, Paul, USDZ, it's a purely Apple thing. I can't work with it in other software. I'm not saying all those file types will come out perfect. I'm not saying that, but at least it gives us a good starting point, right? We're going to use Spline tomorrow. So we're actually going to convert some of our stuff to a GLB file because that's what Spline likes. So if it likes that, let's convert it. Let's use that with our animations and so on. Questions?
Yeah, Paul.
Yep.
Go back to the Canvas.
Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm going to show you right now. Because this was the last part of I wanted to show you and then just open it up for questions. But Dan and I will send out an email, right? And with all the resources in it. But I've tried to put everything in that one spot. I've even put down some files that if you don't have your own 3D files tomorrow in Spline, you can download mine and play around with those. So don't feel like you're going to miss out. Okay? Now, just before we break for lunch, I know I'm a little bit early, but you can just have a chat or whatever. After lunch, just so we can have ultimate success with this, you're going to need an iPad. We've got heaps of them here. They've done an absolute brilliant job of getting them ready for you. Does not require LiDAR scanning, thank goodness, we're past that now. Just an ordinary iPad, can be any generation. And what we want to do is compose our own scenes now. We're going to get creative and actually compose our own. I'll walk you through it. It's not hard, but I'd love it if you actually kind of came with a bit of an idea of not just following my lead, but maybe using those skills and creating your own thing. It could be with the scan that you've got. It could be your own idea for your industry or the kids that you teach. Think about your own context. Okay, so once again, double checking that everyone's got an iPad here. We're going to have a look at bringing in some objects that we've already scanned, but I also want to quickly show you Procreate and the 3D option in there, because you know the tattoo artist was using Procreate to draw on the 3D models. Then we'll bring them into Reality Composer and we'll create a little interactive scene where we tap on something, something pops up. Possibly we've got some, who was the spatial audio person here? Yeah. We might apply some spatial audio with things revolving around us so you can see that sound travels and it actually can move with things. And we'll just have a play with those different aspects. But I'm going to do it in a way that I would with grade 4s and 5s. And I teach grade 4s and 5s Reality Composer. And then I teach the Boys and Girls Club Reality Composer. So you can learn it at 8 years of age, 7 or 8, right through. That's quite unique for an app to do that, actually. It's quite unique that you've got a piece of software that you can use in primary school, elementary school, but also in development as well. It's quite unique. So I'm looking forward to showing you that. Can I just thank you for throwing yourselves into that scanning? Yeah. And after lunch, we're just going to create mode. It's going to be less of me talking and me just showing you a couple of things and you building. Okay? All right. Yep. Dan, so what's the time? I'm just sorry, I know I finished early, so it's still half an hour. Yeah.